Looks like we're live. Perfect. All right, there we go. Nice to see you. I decided I would go live to put this bright green color on, the next color in the palette. And I'm excited to do so. It's when I start to feel a shift, finally. So it should be kind of fun. I'm painting my third color, and it will take about 3 coats per color to get like a really nice opaque coverage, but I thought it'd be fun to go live and do the first layer of this color, because then you can really see what it looks like when I put it on there. Because a lot of times I'm painting like several coats of the same color, so it's boring to watch, but the first coat of a new color is always exciting. Oh, I missed your comment. I'm sorry about that. Forgive me. I try to look back and forth, but I don't know why they don't just leave them on the screen. TikTok kind of just scrolls the comments up. So if there was a way for me to like make sure I see them, sorry about that. They're only up there for seconds. So they want me to do a live and work live so you can watch me working. But at the same time, I'm supposed to keep my eyes dead on the screen, which is hard to do. So I do try to look back and forth, but I'm not that good at it. I'm not that good at being live, actually. I'm used to being live in front of people, like at a table in a booth or something doing demos. So it's a little weird because like this is quiet and you can't ask me questions really unless you post a comment, and then I am lucky if I see it. So, but I do try to look back and look. But this is the next in my acrylic painting series, these big graphic type pop art pieces. And this piece is going to be called Eye on the Prize. And it's one I'm painting kind of with my husband in mind. It's in honor of him. So the last one I did was for my daughter. Is in honor of her, I guess. It wasn't really for her. It was in honor of her. And this one is with my husband in mind. Sometimes I paint things with my family members in mind or people that are special to me. So he's a big race car fan. He's a big F1 series fan. So this one is based on those types of race cars. And I'm using golden acrylic paints for the painting. which are some of my favorites. Those are manufactured right here in upstate New York, and I really like them. Their quality is really unparalleled. Got a piece of plastic stuck to me. Beautiful colors, vibrant, bright, light fast. So I love them. Still trying to figure out my footing with the YouTube channel thing. And I was doing lives on TikTok for a bit there. And I shifted my focus onto YouTube actually. And it's been a bit of a transition, but I'll just kind of stick it out. I think it's a better platform in the long run for me. So that's kind of where I'm at with it, is just transitioning. I probably should have just done YouTube all along, but I was biased against YouTube for some reason, so I didn't. And now I'm on here, and I think on here to stay. I've done all the other platforms like Facebook and Instagram and even Twitter and TikTok, and I just actually do like YouTube the best. So I should have just gone with it from day one, but that's all right. Never too late. Today's the first day of the rest of your life, I've heard it said. Oh, I'm really excited to get these greens up on here finally. This makes it interesting and kind of starts to cover some of the white of the canvas, which is always a good thing. I wish there was a way I could see a history of the comments. I'm still so new to YouTube. All messages are visible, hide all. Yeah, we want all messages visible, but I don't really know how to keep up with them. I wish they would just stay on the screen. That would be cool. For TikTok, you can like see them. Oh, I see. I just missed one. That's how quick they come and go. That's not really fair. And I don't know, like, is there a sound that I can have associated with them? Because that would be helpful. If there was a sound, but it's silent when the comment comes up. So I'd have to literally sit here and watch the screen while painting, which, how can I do that? Those are tiny little spots on there, but that's all right. It'll come together. Oh, and I was supposed to set my timer for the 1 hour mark, but I didn't. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm trying to give myself the impetus to get live every day, to go live. Well, not every day, but to go live or to do some kind of recording. So I have a timer going, and I have this big jar of marbles that I'm trying to fill. So that's where I'm at. And I imagine this will get a lot more impressive to watch once I have more colors on it. It's probably not super interesting to look at right now, but it's interesting to me to look at because I'm watching it come along. But I do feel like I get less interaction on my YouTube lives than on my TikTok lives. So this is totally experimental. Let's see what happens when I stick it out trying to do as many lives as I can on here. We'll see. The goal is to fight through the discomfort of being on the camera sort of by myself until I can have more interesting content and more people interested in my content, which maybe they never will be. It's probably not that good to look at. What do I know? My husband thinks so, but he's so biased, you know? And my family thinks so, but they're so biased. So what can you do? I mostly make content for their purposes, for their fun. If anybody else enjoys looking at it, that's always nice. But yeah, these elementary stages are pretty boring to watch me paint. So, but just getting on a live stream helps me to get more comfortable with it because I'm really not. It's really not my thing. I much prefer like a pre-recorded, but then you got to do all the editing and that's a pain. So I can see why this is a beneficial medium or modality. I don't know what you call it. It's definitely unique. And how spontaneous it is. But so I work in like spectrums of color basically. So this one's going to go from yellow all the way to purple. And hit greens and blues and teals in the middle of it. Oops, I'm always painting outside the lines. That was my problem. I can never be inside the lines. I just kind of work my way over and down so I don't drag my arm through whatever I've painted up till that point. Try to find all the threes on here that I've indicated as threes. Oops. Plus I feel like I'm picking up really runny paint for some reason. It's very like thin. It's not giving me good coverage on the canvas. There we go. That's a little better. I got to cover up that Sharpie. So it needs a little bit of opacity to do that. Otherwise, forget about it. Yeah, it's hard to see what I'm doing, but that'll do it. Sometimes it's easier to flip the painting upside down to work on the lower levels, just so I don't hurt my back, because I'm not young anymore. I'm not very entertaining to watch, I promise you that. If there's somebody else more snazzy and more entertaining that is like dancing on camera and doing all the things that they do, you should definitely go watch them instead of this, because this is not that entertaining. I used to like to flip through on TikTok. Not that I would listen to the music so much, but I like to watch the DJs because I thought they were really good at engaging the audience, which, oh my gosh, I am not at all. Some people like to watch me paint, but I just can't imagine that that would be very entertaining. Especially when I'm doing these tiny areas that are boring. Super boring. I need even tinier brush for this little spot I'm going to do right here. Even tinier than what I was using. I usually have like 4 or 5 brushes going with the paint loaded on them for different sizes, because I'm trying to use the biggest brush in the space that will fit in the space. So if I can get away with a bigger brush, I will. It just moves quicker. And I get the brush loaded up with a lot of paint as I'm working it throughout, putting all the layers on it. So then they're all just really, heavy with paint and good to go. So oh, thank you for liking the live stream. I appreciate that. I'm not very good at this, I promise. I'm sorry. I'm sure there's a better YouTuber out there. If you are here patronizing me for 5 minutes, you are amazing. I appreciate you. If you're just passing by for 2 seconds, well, I don't blame you. I'm pretty bored watching myself do this too, so. All right, threes. I've got the threes at the bottom, but I'm actually thinking of flipping the painting upside down in order to do them, so. So I'm just going to stay with the ones that are like up top and then maybe flip it around, I guess. Yeah. See what that does for me. There we go. Not bad. Not bad at all. I do wish I could have music playing in the background. I guess YouTube is really picky about what music that they have going in the background. Like really picky about it. I did like a little art vlog and I simply put like generic music in the intro and at the exit, like 12 seconds each or something. And YouTube kept flagging me for copyright. And I was like, but I'm literally using copyright free stuff. So that doesn't make sense. Plus, I pay for the editing software that I'm using. So, like, technically, I'm owning it, that, the right to use what's in there. So it's funny to me because when I'm doing a live on like TikTok or whatever, they don't really care what I'm listening to. But YouTube cares a lot. And they'll ding you for using the wrong music. So I don't want to do that. Yeah, I don't know if there's any safe music you can use in a live stream. I believe there's like copyright free channels. I'm not sure. Would that get dinged as not okay? I don't know. I need to find out. I need to find out. I guess I could just try. Put it up there and see if it gets like banned or whatever. They seem very strict, so I don't know. I don't want to upset the YouTube powers that be. Doesn't seem to take much. And that's more like because I don't know what I'm doing, but I definitely don't understand the music thing with YouTube and how they're like so rigid about it. Because if you're hanging out with me in my studio and I have some tunes going, like I've probably paid for them. I have a Pandora membership and an Amazon membership, or maybe I have CDs playing in my stereo or whatever. So, like, what's the big deal for me to have music playing in my studio when I'm going on a live? Because technically, you're just hanging out with me in my studio. I have friends over and we're listening to music while I paint. So I do find it's weird that YouTube will ding me for having the wrong kind of music playing when I'm working in the studio. I do think that's really weird. No offense, YouTube, but what's up with that? I don't know. I don't understand it. But that's why I have an earbud, because I want to listen to music while I am doing this. But I would rather everybody be able to listen to the tunes because it might be chill. It might be relaxing. I don't know. I think painting and music is a lot more relaxing than just painting and talking. So part of me just wants to say, you know what? Too bad. Screw it. I'm going to play music in the background and let YouTube do with it what it wants to do. Because it's just so quiet. A little too quiet, how I like to say, a little too quiet. I'm loving this other green. It's looking really good. It's not got a lot of space though on here. Again, it's just a little bit of the palette, these first few colors. It's really not until I get into like color number 5, 6 that it starts to take over a lot of the canvas. 6 is probably the one that gets super prolific, but 5's on there a good bit too. 6, 7, 8, and then it peters out again around 9. I was about to say 9 o'clock. Around 9, number 9. That's a less predominant color. So, but I'm only working on number 3, so That is definitely less predominant, but more predominant than the two colors before it. Kind of works like a bell curve. Awesome. I do love this color. It's not something I would necessarily wear, but I think it's going to work really well for this painting. And I like the neon palette that I have going on for this one. I want it to feel like very electric. I want it to feel very dynamic. So that's why I went with the bright, bright yellow and green into the blues. And the blues are even like fairly electric colors, so that should be fun. I can't wait to get into them. And this will be so much more interesting once I get further along with the colors. So if you're watching, which I'm not sure if anybody's even on right now, one person, if you're watching, this is the early stages, and I know it's not super interesting, but if you come back to visit, you'll see in the next few days, probably tomorrow, how I get the next color on there and the next color, and it starts to really take shape. So if you come back, you'll see how this grows, and then I will probably do some work on the abstract minis in my next live stream. So I will bounce back and forth between like color application and then working on the abstracts that you see down below. And like I said, I just posted a new vlog, which I haven't done a long form video in a while. So I'm sorry about that. Just a lot of stuff going on. But anyways, I posted a new format, long video, an art vlog, where I go through painting the abstract minis and working on this piece and telling you a little bit about all of, how I do all that. So if you're interested, go check it out. Because I did it, it's pretty raw and uncut, unfiltered. And I actually really love the format. I kind of wish I had started working like that earlier on, but I didn't know any better. I was just, I saw somebody do a podcast and I was like, oh, I have stuff I could say too. So I decided I would do a podcast, and I didn't mean to like copy their format, but it ended up being sort of like that. But it didn't feel natural to me to do that style. So I took some time off from doing it in order to really figure out what I was doing. And while I took the time off, I found a couple other vloggers or whatever you want to call it, YouTube channels, and really dug their format, especially this one person. I love his format. It's called Sailing with Phoenix, and his content is just so organic and natural, and almost feels like it's unedited, although I'm sure he spends a lot of time editing it. But I loved his format so much that I was like, that's kind of what I want to do. So the last long format video I posted, which was this morning actually, kind of emulates that style a little bit as I'm working in the studio. So I'm excited to see what people think of that versus the more like cultured, I've got to get around the edge here. Sorry, that's not very interesting. Cultured, pre-planned, like podcast with a bullet list. I didn't really have a bullet list in mind. I was like, well, I'm going to be working on my abstract minis. I've got like 40 of them going all at one time. So I'm going to just get some paint on the canvas and you're going to hang out with me. And that was a lot of fun. So if you're into that sort of thing, seeing process and whatnot, I encourage you to go check it out. And if you make a comment and I miss it, I'm sorry. The comments fly by at 100 miles an hour, so I miss them a lot. I wish they didn't. That's one complaint I do have about YouTube, besides the music thing, is comments fly by at 100 miles an hour, and I get frustrated about that. So I'm still adapting to how different YouTube is from TikTok. But I think I'm on YouTube to stay. I don't see myself going back really to TikTok. So no offense, TikTok, you've been good, but I just see myself building a better just see myself doing better on YouTube in the long haul. So I'm going to stick it out like I did with TikTok for a bit and see how I do. All right, now that I got one coat on all of these areas, now I almost want to like flip the canvas upside down because I've got this giant space and a bunch of little ones down here. And I'll be like bending over unless I flip the canvas. So I think I'm going to do that just to make it a little bit easier on my back. And grab these up here. Just sometimes I end up like rubbing a spot I've already painted that's wet. So I just have to be careful not to do that. And then once these are done with their first coat, then I just basically, as soon as they're dry, I go back in and start doing the second coat. Usually kind of right away, just so I can get to the abstract minis quicker and then on to the next color. I like to do 3 coats usually of each color. It's pretty rare that I need more than 3, and it's pretty rare that I need less than 3. So I should check my microphones to see they're working. They are. The other day when I was using them, they were like shutting off on me, and I didn't know much about them. I'm still very, very new at all this. It's always really satisfying to get like a slightly bigger section painted. I'm doing so many millions of tiny sections. So it's a little bit rewarding to feel bigger sections getting filled in finally. I definitely get less friends and family joining me on my lives through YouTube. So I know that the people in my life aren't as YouTube heavy as the other platforms, but they already know I make art, so I'm not too worried about that. But I know they miss me doing them, so I've been trying to spread the word. Hey, I'm on YouTube now. I'm using like a really small brush for this big space, so maybe I need to switch it up. I think it was because I thought I was going to maybe start on the corner here, and I didn't. So maybe I need to go back in and do that before I switch out. There we go. Now I can go in and use the bigger brush just to help it move along faster. I don't want to take an hour to finish that little space. All right, there's that. Pretty much. Let's see, I've got this little guy, and then this big, huge section right here. So that's exciting. And then it'll be time for the second coat. And I've only been on here for half an hour, which is kind of depressing because I know I just have to give it time before I start seeing engagement and interaction from you guys. I just need to be patient. Plus, once I start doing my watercolors and other types of mediums, I know that that is a lot more interesting to people. But this is what I'm working on today, so I brung what I got. Oh, that was my belly, if you heard that. I might be hungry. I'm not sure. We ended up postponing dinner. So my husband had a pressure washing job, and it was like, do we eat beforehand at like 4? Or do we eat after at like 7 o'clock or 7:30? It's kind of a weird time. Or it was like 3:30. I don't know. It was like too early, but too late. So I'm like, well, you do that, and I will do some painting to keep me busy in the meantime. Be a little awkward to paint this top piece, but I think we'll be all right. first, this big guy. It's so rewarding to finish the big areas or to paint a big area in. Because I feel like, oh, look at that. So much of the canvas getting covered. So it's like rewarding. Here we go, looking good. I do love this color. It's so neon. It's so bright. We had a gorgeous day in upstate New York today. It's hard to complain today. We've had like either rain or blisteringly hot weather. And today was kind of one of those perfectly ideal days, which you don't really get that much. The way June should be, I guess. The way it's not been this whole year for some reason. All right, now I need like a big fat brush to do this huge area here. Or I guess this one will work, maybe. This one isn't huge, but it should do the job. I just need to remember to not rub where I just painted, which I'm notorious for doing. This is super rewarding. Doing this huge piece, oh my gosh. You can't even imagine how nice it is to get this huge piece painted in. It's really exciting. Even if no one is with me right now in the room to celebrate, it's okay. I'm excited to do it anyways. I'm gonna flip this down so I can see what I'm doing. So if that looks weird, I don't know what that looks like on there. It looks weird. Sorry about that if you're here with me. I don't think anybody is anyways, but if you are, sorry. I should probably just paint the top edge all right now and be done with it, you know? And then I don't have to keep flipping it back and forth. So maybe I will do that real quick, is just get that top edge covered and be done with it. I think so, yeah. Oop, I just got paint all over another brush. Ha 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 ha. Leave that to me to paint my other paintbrush with paint. That's hysterical. It sounds like something I would do too. All right, back to the top here. This will definitely make it easier to get the whole thing covered without moving it around so much. So if you're with me and this is super boring, I'm sorry. There's probably a lot more entertaining stuff you could go watch somewhere else. And I wouldn't even blame you for doing it. I'd probably go watch something somewhere else, honestly, if this is what I just passed by. But like I said, it's what I'm doing tonight, so it's what I got. I brung what I got. It's just not very good. All right, there's that. Now all we have to do is like fill in that part, so that shouldn't be too bad. And probably by the time I'm done with this, it'll be almost ready. Like it's probably ready to be dried. I could just dry it with a hair dryer and then I can flip it and get the next coat put on there, which isn't super interesting. I was thinking about doing some of my live stream with some of my abstract minis because they're definitely more interesting to work on. I keep getting paint on this brush. That is not good. It's an oil brush, so it's not supposed to have water on it. But I keep getting paint on it, acrylic paint, so that's not good. I clearly need to move these brushes out of the way. All right, there we go. This is super transparent though. I can see it on all the other spaces. It's definitely going to need the 3 coats. No matter how much white I put in some of these colors, it's hard to get it to stabilize enough to not be translucent. There's no way I can do it in 1 coat. There's no such thing. But sometimes I do hope, can I do it in 2 coats? But that never seems to be the case on rare occasion. Just trying to keep the canvas from bouncing around on me so much. I don't like to paint on hard surfaces, so I do like the spring of the canvas, but this is bouncy up here in the corner. If you're with me, I appreciate you joining me. I'm just finalizing the 3rd color, first layer of the 3rd color on this piece. I'm almost done with this section. And then I'll have to put several more coats, like, well, 2, I would say, probably. 2 more coats to get the opacity of this green that I want so it doesn't look like wishy-washy. So it looks solid and not like a watercolor. I want it to look almost like a factory finish. If I can get it to be that way, that's the goal when I'm painting these. It's got like super flat, opaque finish to it. But as soon as this section is done, I think I will cut out this live stream and move on to the 2nd coat, because who's going to want to watch that? It's boring enough to watch me paint the 1st coat on the live stream. So you're not going to want to watch me paint the same color over the color in another live stream. So I'll probably just do that one by myself. And maybe do some research and see if I can play music in the background during the live stream, because it's so boring not to be able to. It's almost depressing. It feels punishment. It feels like punishment. So I got to figure out how I can do that. I know if you're a musician, you can play music. And I am a musician, but I don't have my own music. I just cover other stuff. Ooh, my arm's getting tired being up there in the air. But I'm coming to a close here on this first layer of paint, this 3rd color. So I'll get to flip it around and see what it looks like. Although that, I don't want it to get ruined on the bottom edge here. I think I forgot to take a process shot of it. I'm not sure. I forget to do that all the time. There we go. So that's the first layer of the 3rd color. So I just want to go and check and see if I missed any 3s, although I don't usually see them until I start doing the 4s or the next color, I guess. Then I always see one section or one little spot that I missed of the previous color. But as long as I don't see one, which I don't think I do, I think I'm good to go. I think so. Yeah. Well, thanks for the like. I appreciate that. Yeah, Yeah, I think I'm good to go. And basically, I just go back in and I start doing the second coat as soon as the first coat's dry. Which in these areas, the first coat is already dry. The areas I started at the beginning of the live stream are already dry because it's been like 40 minutes now. So they're good to go for a second coat, which isn't that exciting to watch. And I need a coat that's not so watery. It's got to have less water in the paint so that it's not see-through. Looking for a nice heavy coat of paint. And I've got to wrap it around the top edge. I started doing this recently. I don't know, I say recently, in the last few years, because I've been painting a long time. So back in the day, you would never even consider just painting your edge. You would like have it framed always. Now people just paint their edges, and I started doing black edges and stuff. Well, then I started like actually carrying the design around the edge in the last couple that I did, and I really like that effect. I'm sure I copied it from somebody better than me, but that's what I've been doing with my paintings lately is wrapping the design around the edge, and I really like that. I like how that looks a lot. In these paintings, I think it works really well. Some paintings, I think it could be sloppy. I just think it depends. And then obviously like formal representational paintings, it might not work at all. So it's for these graphic nature paintings that I think it works really well. It's kind of runny. I want to thicken that up a little. Let me grab more. There we go. I think the second coat, though, it definitely takes away the translucent quality of the paint, kind of eliminates it. So hopefully by the end of the second coat, it's not that I won't need the third coat, but it's that the third coat will be kind of like performative. But man, the second coat is crucial because the paint is nearly see-through right now after only the first coat. So it's really, really crucial to get a nice heavy second coat on there. And sometimes there's just not a lot for me to talk about when I'm doing it. So if you're here and you checked out, I don't blame you because I'm not exactly the most entertaining person in the world. And I'm probably going to shut this down shortly and work on it just by myself, knowing that watching me paint two coats of the same color aren't really very interesting things to watch. But I haven't really worked on the abstract minis in a live stream, and I'm trying to get through this part of the painting so that I can take the leftover paint and go work on all my minis because those are the most fun to do. I don't think I've done them in a live stream. I did them in my art blog. So there we go. That's awesome. I'm loving it. So yeah, this part is not as interesting as working on the abstract paintings. The abstract paintings are really dynamic, and I'm moving tons of them around as I'm painting and using all kinds of found objects to paint them. So I think they're more interesting probably for a live stream, but I have to get through this part to get to that part. So well, I think that's it for now since we don't have anybody here. So thanks for being with me if you came.